Most interesting thing in impact. Okay, so OpenAI decides to heck with having a nonprofit board and nonprofit governance. It's holding us back from raising billions of dollars and from giving shareholder returns. Let's fully become a for-profit benefit corporation with a for-profit board. And they're intending to leave the nonprofit entity a minority shareholder in the benefit corporation, which is a bit odd, but I'll get back to that. OpenAI's nonprofit board was meant to govern over the for-profit arm, but Sam Altman, the CEO, just flipped that structure upside down. OpenAI is in talks to raise about $6.5 billion from investors, and removing any restrictions on profits would be an extra incentive for the would-be backers engaged in talks right now. Now, there's a few nuances in my view. Developing powerful AI systems is expensive because they need hordes of compute power, and that means billions in computing infrastructure, energy, and capital. And OpenAI is predicting an enormous hunger for compute infrastructure and energy over the next 5 years. So they need to keep raising billions, or else someone else will. And as a social entrepreneur myself, it illustrates the challenge for me, the massive challenge in traditional investor markets of raising billions every few years with nonprofit governments. But then, though, it makes me wonder, why couldn't the world's philanthropic organizations invest? Where are the MasterCard foundations, the Gates foundations, the Azim Premji foundations, Ford foundations, et cetera? Why haven't they stepped up? I mean, $6.5 billion is a tiny fraction of the world's philanthropic capital. So it makes me wonder, is the bottleneck to raising billions with traditional investors really part of the nonprofit governance? Because there's a difference between governance, equity, stake, and returns. And not to mention the fundamental articles of the corporation. But here's the thing though. You change the governance model, it's easier to change everything else, from the articles to how you fundraise. This is the long view strategic play for the organization and has very little to do with reinvesting its profits. I mean, OpenAI could be heading for a loss of as much as $5 billion this year. But the thing is that there actually are some well-known examples of privately held public benefit corporations, including clothing brand Patagonia, ice cream manufacturer Ben & Jerry's, and crowdfunding website Kickstarter. People around the world absolutely love these companies. But then again, none of these companies are in the race to dominate the generative AI market globally and shape where and how AI makes decisions for humans and modify our mental models. Anthropic, perhaps OpenAI's well-known competitor, is run as a public benefit corporation, and OpenAI has been a bit envious of this. One question I do have, though, is can OpenAI legally, retroactively, remove profit caps from past investments, notably Microsoft, and transfer the returns? Yeah, I'm not so sure. But here's another nuance to this whole OpenAI complex transformation saga. OpenAI has always said that its approach is safety at every step, and recently announced that its Safety and Security Committee will become an independent entity. Now, this could actually be really interesting, and I wonder if the minority nonprofit arm is intended to fund this. Because what if this entity could actually become a sort of a B Lab for AI companies? You know, B Lab is the global nonprofit that created the impact assessment standard that certifies B corporations, and there's about 6,500 B Corps in the world. Their assessment for environmental impact, social impact, equity, and government has actually gotten more rigorous over the years. So what if there could be a B Lab for AI companies? Now, that's worth exploring. It continues, and that's the most interesting thing in impact.